Hi, I'm Bridget from Sydney Fish Market, and I'm going to talk about how can you tell if your fish is fresh. What would you look for? So let's start with a whole fish. Now this is a plate-sized snapper. What you're looking for is a good sheen and a nice firm texture. You're on the other side of the counter, you can't touch the fish. But if you watch and see the person when they're handling the fish, when they move their finger or thumb away, you want to see the flesh look like it's nice and resilient and bounces back. So that's a sign it's nice and firm. A good clear eye is definitely an indication of a fresh fish, but sometimes the eye will be cloudy. If ice has gone over the top of the eye, it can actually make the eye go cloudy. So a cloudy eye on its own is not necessarily a good indication. What you do want to see though is the eye looking nice and full. You don't want to see it sunken into the head. Ask the person who's serving you to lift up and show you the gills. What we're looking for is nice bright red gills, not brown, not green, not slimy. So nice bright gills. The trouble is sometimes the gills are being taken out because that's the fish's filter system and it's one of the things that the shops might take out first. So not always there for you to be able to tell. The other thing is if it's got scales on it, and often the scales are left on to stop the fish drying out, you want the scales firmly attached. If they look like they're starting to flick off, that's not always a good sign. And the other most important thing with any of your fish is a good fresh sea smell. If it smells fishy, it probably is, so it should smell of the ocean. So that's with your whole fish. If you're buying a cut piece of fish, and in this case it's a snapper fillet, all the same things apply. You just want it to be a nice firm texture and a good luster. The only extra bits is no browning around the edges. So you don't want it looking like it's drying out around the edges, and you don't want it sitting in a puddle of water because it can mean that it's been frozen or badly handled or what's worse, both. So you want it to look as though it's a nice good sheen to it but not sitting in a puddle of water. And you don't want to see the flesh starting to look like it's separating. So they're the main things with a fish fillet, and the only other difference is if you're buying a cutlet, and that's when it cuts straight across the middle of the fish and there is a central bone to the fish. You want to make sure the flesh is firmly attached to that central bone and not starting to separate. It's as simple as that. And if you know what you're looking for, I think they'll be very careful to make sure they sell you a good fish.